Hey guys, it's Di from BeingMommywithStyle, and today I wanted to tackle the question, how do you budget for Disney? Otherwise, also asked a lot of times on old videos, like how do you go to Disney multiple times a year? And how do you get these Disney trips to go, so often and that sort of thing. So a lot of times I get asked this on old series of videos, maybe someone that has just come across my channel and has realized that we've gone multiple trips in a year, or that maybe we've gone back from year to year. Obviously, I think the people that are a little bit more familiar with my channel probably already kind of have an idea, but this is going to be a really great video for me just to copy the link, paste it in the comment, and then I can share that information really succinctly with people that are asking in the future. Or if you're just wondering, some ideas on how to budget, this is how we are able to go to Disney a few times a year. So first of all, my husband is the main kind of breadwinner, the main income person in our family, and I talk about this in a separate video, which I will link down below, as far as our family budget. So I have recently gone back to work full-time, and I also do, just full disclosure, make an income from YouTube, and then we get bonuses and things like that throughout the year as well, but those are all extra, and including my income is all extra. So what we would view the extra income for is paying down things quicker, saving more, using it for vacations a lot, so that's going to be a big part of this video, and then just like extra stuff, like if I want to go out and buy a new couch or whatever, that would generally come out of the extra money. I paid for our dining room set from YouTube money. I paid for our couches from YouTube money. Those sorts of things come out of that extra money. So then it doesn't affect your budget, it doesn't affect your bottom line. So that's kind of how we view that. They're two separate things, and that's kind of just how we do it, and it's worked well for us. So that's why I want to share in this video. So going to Disney multiple times a year, and then just a full disclosure, most of the time, the past 3 years, at least one of our trips has been hosted. And what hosted means is that Disney has invited us to go and paid for all or a portion of the trip, sometimes including airfare and getting there as well. So if you see hosted on someone's thing on Instagram or whatever, it means that company has invited them and they are paying them to do that. And as influencers, we are expected by the FTC to disclose that if we have been given something for free or complimentary or whatever. So that is why you'll see, hosted or whatever, Disney partner, I think is the new one, whatever company it is, partner, in the hashtag. So if you see that, that's what that means. So for the past 3 years, we have gone 3 times in a year, I believe, all 3 years, and at least one of those trips has been hosted. So you can immediately knock that off of the question, okay? So then let's just look at, we've gone 2 times a year. So first of all, I do make videos on our Disney trips. So I make the videos and then people watch the videos and then I make the money from the ads, and then pretty much that pays for the trip. But how I budget beforehand is that any extra income that we get, I use that as my vacation budget, and then I plan the trip out, and then I, pay for it in portions, and then I, pay for the trip, and we go for the trip, and we make the videos, and we come back, and it's just a cycle basically. Now, this is a little bit different now that I'm working. Before, I just had my YouTube income, so I was just using that, and what I would do is I would divide it in portions. So if we were flying, like when we lived in Michigan, I would do like the flights in 1 month, and then I would do like our reservation in 1 month. Maybe sometimes if it was a longer reservation, a bigger reservation, I might pay it off over 2 months or whatever. And if you reserve a thing through the Disney website, you have to have it paid in full, I believe, at like 30 or 31 days before your trip or something like that. But you have like the whole time, like, to make payments as small as you want, as big as you want. You could pay $1,000 a month on it. You could pay $25 a month on it if you had like a long time to pay it off. It's really flexible up to that like 30-day mark. Then from there, it has to be paid off, and they mail out your magic bands. You should already have your fast passes at that point, etc. So then at that point, all the big portions of the trip are paid for, and then I have dining reservations, which I pay for if we don't have the dining plan. If we have the dining plan that's already paid for with your reservation, that's one thing. And then I typically would have to divide that into more parts if that would be there. And then if we didn't have the dining plan, I would pay for our food there, and then just, it's deferred another month after you've paid for the trip, basically, because your trip's a month after that last payment had to be made on the Disney trip. Hopefully that makes sense. So That was when I was just basing on YouTube income. Now, obviously, I'm working full-time. So I use that income now as our main extra, saving, paying for vacations, whatever. So now it's obviously a lot different where I can just book and take care of it. We don't have to fly now either. So that's a huge like amount taken off, because I was paying anywhere from like $1,200 to $1,600 for plane flights. So that's saving me that amount of money right there. And then you just basically have to pay for a reservation and you're done. So it's a lot easier now having a second income, part-time income, and now I have a full-time income. So when you pull it together, it's just basically a pay for the vacation and move on type of thing out of extra income. So it doesn't affect your bottom line at all. So if you're younger, if you're a young family and you're really trying to figure out how to set up your budgets, and that's a goal where you want to work in vacations to your budget later on as your family grows and gets older, I would definitely recommend making sure all your main bills are set off your main income. And then any extra income, or if you incur a second income as the kids get older or whatever, that just becomes like your extra. That can literally become your college fund, your saving fund, your house renovation fund, your Disney fund, your whatever. And it really helps to kind of divide those two out and make sure that that's all balanced out. So that's really kind of how we have done it. And then obviously I've had an income for the past 5 years. I haven't been working full-time for the past 5 years, but I've had YouTube income. So that's paid for the Disney trips, or if they've been hosted. So it's so tough for me to be able to answer that question, because it's not as simple as, you know, I don't know. It's just because every single person has such a different situation. I really never know quite how to answer that question, but that's how we do it. That's what's worked for us. I definitely recommend that if you can work out your household budget that way. It's worked out really, really great for us. I also recommended over in my other video, if you want to watch financial videos to really kind of get yourself set up. We like Dave Ramsey principles, but we don't follow it to a T. We don't do the envelope system and those sorts of things. I love my debit card too much. But Debt Free Dana, she does a financial series and really hammering down on having your mortgage paid off early, and really like bringing up your net worth and that sort of thing. So she does a really good job kind of sharing that info from gurus and financial gurus. So you might definitely go check those out, because I am not a finance channel. I do not plan on getting into it, but I do want to kind of, I don't want to keep skirting around these questions. And I feel like I don't have to as much anymore, because my husband has worked for the past 10 years for an automotive manufacturer, and I felt like it was much more of a hot button topic with him working for an automotive manufacturer, because there for a while, not so much now, but they were really like scrutinized on how much their employees are being paid, and did they pay out too much money, and were they spending too much frivolous money on that, frivolous money on this. Those companies paid a huge price about 10 years ago, and they had to right size, and they had to really kind of look at their bottom line and make sure that they were, you know, not overemploying and that sort of thing. So they went through a really tough transition, and I started YouTube not very long after that all went down. So I really tried to be sensitive of not like just starting my channel and saying like, you know, hey, this is us, and by the way, he works for an automotive manufacturer, and then, you know, getting all kinds of flack because of that. But I think a lot of that's kind of gone by the wayside, and I think that, you know, people are kind of more understandable about that whole situation now. So I'm not kind of, well, and he doesn't work for that OEM anymore. He works for a different company now. So it's kind of more of a non-issue, I guess you could say. But still, financial videos, not my wheelhouse, because it still makes me very uncomfortable to talk about finances, political, religious stuff, just because it's so particular to you. I'm such a moderate person. I don't think you need to do things the same way that I do. I think you do you, and if you want to listen to how we do them and that gives you some idea or some inspiration, fabulous. But I don't think that every single person needs to do everything exactly the same, because I think that would make the world a very boring place. If we all liked the same stuff and all did the same things and all planned the exact same way, the world would be very, very boring. So I think that it works exactly how it is. And I am not one of those people that has a super extreme opinion on any of those things, to be honest with you. So I really would prefer not to be a soapbox on any of that. I am much happier unboxing fun things and showing those to you. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let me know if you have any questions down below, but really I just wanted this video to be able to answer that question, like how? That's how. And it does take a little bit of planning. I mean, we've been planning for this since before we had kids. I mean, not necessarily with the idea of going to Disney 2 times a year, but I mean, we have planned for the idea of me being a stay-at-home mom when they were young and kind of setting ourselves up to be able to do XYZ and planning ahead since before we had kids. So it really helps if you're young, newly married, whatever, you start thinking about those things now to really, you know, kind of implement them into your budget. Even when we were working before, when I was working and he was working before we had kids, we didn't use my income for anything. It was always the extra income. So if you really kind of get yourself in that mindset early on, it really helps. So that's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.